Morning folks. Next day after my last video of making our shepherd's pie, still in the same location on the Murray at Cobram Baruga, which is right on the border of Victoria and New South Wales in Australia. Yesterday's video was all about using the camp oven. Today's not going to be any different, but today we're going to make a dessert instead of, I guess, a savoury main meal, which is what we made yesterday with our shepherd's pie. Now, we did notice in yesterday's video, after we uploaded it onto YouTube, that you could hardly see my head. It was cut off most of the videos, and I think that's something to do with Apple iPlay or iMovie. Possibly that was it. It wouldn't be us. We wouldn't make those mistakes. But still, what a beautiful day. Every day's the same up here, and I'm looking at the forecast for the next 5 days, and they're all going to be this exact weather. You know, like, it's amazing. I think the next bit of rain they have is going to be in about 7 days time. So anyway, it's going to be a shame packing up and leaving tomorrow to go home, but that's it. So I've got some wood on the fire here, which I've had that going since we got up this morning. It was -3 degrees Celsius here this morning when we get up. So the nights are bloody cold, but the days are absolutely beautiful. So fire's going, getting our coals ready for us. I just put a nice few big logs on there as well, and keep that going for our coals. We're going to do that later on. Now let's walk over here to our table where we've got our ingredients. If you can come over with me, mate. All right. We're going to be making scones, okay? These are what we call Australian scones. What we do with these is it's going to have dates in it, among other ingredients. The other ingredients that we have are going to be, obviously, self-raising flour. We've got some cream. We've got some ginger beer. Bundaberg ginger beer, Australian company, Australian ginger beer. In my opinion, it's the best you can get. Kirk's ginger beer as well is pretty good, cheaper. Didn't have any of that in the supermarket, so I had to get the expensive stuff today, which some of my mates will be laughing about that, because I know how much I hate spending money. But anyway, it's just part of life. Now, chop all these up. I don't think you really need to watch me do that, but you can get the gist of what has to be done here. I'm going to chop the rest of these, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you what the next step is. Okay, so chopped up all our dates to, you know, not too small, but a good size. Now, one thing with this is the same as all my cooking. I guess the quantities that I use, I just do it by eye. I don't really sort of measure or weigh anything. I just do it by eye, and everyone's different. You know, it's a bit like salt and pepper. Some people like more dates in their scones than others, and you know, so therefore, well, I can't say to you to put 100 grams worth of dates in it, because you might like more dates than 100 grams worth of dates. So anyway, this is our Bundaberg rum. There's only probably bloody 2 tablespoons there, not even, but that's going to go in there. And with that, if I'm honest, I probably would have put a little bit more in ordinarily, but Melissa drank too much of this last night, so there's not much left. Now what I'm going to do is just get that soaking through there, mix that through a bit, and this is going to sit and absorb all that Bundaberg rum for at least the next hour. It could be longer, depending on you know how I feel. But we'll leave it for at least an hour. I'll put the lid on it, and we'll let that soak. So, okay, this has been soaking for about 45 minutes to an hour. Our raisins and our rum. We're going to make 2 types of. When I say 2 types, one's going to be a gluten-free scone or scone, and then we're going to make non-gluten-free scones or scones. Initially, the first batch are going to be gluten-free, so that, I guess it makes it like there's less cross-contamination. This is, I think, a kilo box. No, it's not. It's half a kilo. So
That's enough.
we're going to make, that's enough of it. Now, that is all we need. Now, half of this is going to be for the gluten-free and half of the non-gluten-free. My hands, I just washed them over there. And geez, it smells nice. And then we'll put half of that in there. That's half. Put the lid back on that. And then a bit of cream. And I won't put hopefully too much liquid in this because I don't want it to bit of Bundaberg ginger beer, and I'm going to quickly get myself a spoon. Just bear with me a second while I do that. And then I'll use a spoon. They say to use the handle of it. You can sort of cut through it a bit more if you use the handle. Now, it's looking quite good. It needs more liquid, which is a good thing because you don't want to really, I'd rather add more liquid than add flour to it. We've only got a certain amount of flour. A bit more cream in there. And the cream to the ginger beer ratio is going to be like 50-50, if you know what I mean. I might have put, hopefully not too much, we'll just give it another go. We'll keep doing this until it picks up all that flour, the dry flour, and keep stirring it. I might have to add a bit more flour to this, but we'll see how we go. It's not, actually, it's not too bad. Might have fluked it. It's picking up and it's going into a ball, you know, and it's picking up all the flour from the sides of the wall of the container that I'm using. You know what, it possibly could use a bit more, but I can use that. I'll put a bit more in now and give it another stir. And I will use my fingers to get that off there now. Put that down on that. It's going to feel different because it's gluten-free, different to what I'm used to because this is a gluten-free type. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cook two different batches, so I'm not going to put them both in the oven together and cook them together. I'm going to do the gluten-free ones on their own, and then I'll do the non-gluten-free ones afterwards. Okay, now the trick with this is, once you get to this point here, which I'm pretty happy with at this point, is you want to sprinkle some of this on here and lay that down. And you want it to be, you know, not too thin, do you? Really, when you think about it, they're actually pretty thick. And we're going to see if we can get like 4 scones out of that. I reckon we should be able to get 4 out of it. Bear with me again because I wasn't prepared. No, that's okay. What I'll do is I'll use that. Maybe. And that's a nice looking scone. Not the best idea. But you know what? I might actually put a little bit of flour on there. Probably should have thought of this sooner, you know, like a bit of flour there like that. I'll probably get 5 scones by the time I do this. But anyway, you get the idea. I'll do this for the rest of it, make maybe 5 scones out of it, and then I'll show you what the next step is. Okay, so we've got 7, eh? I feel like I've won that slotto. Now, come over to here. I've been preheating our oven. It's on 180 degrees Celsius. No, I don't know what it is, but I just put some coals down out of that fire. Preheating the oven. I won't touch it with my hands, like I won't burn my hands again, like we all know I'm good at. That's perfect. What I want to do is put a bit of flour in the bottom of that to protect, you know, That'll soak up any residue oil that might be in the bottom, which I reckon there is.
That's just cost you about $3 for that flour.
Yeah, I know. And then what we'll do is we'll put these in place. A trivet could be a good idea to use right now. We haven't got one with us. Trivets are something that you could stick in the bottom of your oven, and it prevents them from sort of being in direct heat with the base, with the floor of the camp oven actually. And so it just lifts it off the floor of the camp oven. Another thing I want to do is get a bit more flour. I'll just sprinkle some flour over the top of these now. Just a little bit of flour over the top. All right, we're looking good, we're looking good. And then bang our lid back on. And then I'm going to get some coals from our fire and stick some coals on the lid like I did yesterday when we finished off our shepherd's pie. Because now we've got some coals, we've got the coals on the bottom, we also want some coals on the top as well. We want them evenly distributed so that we get an even heat. Okay, now, so I'll leave that for probably 20 minutes or so and we'll see how we go. Okay, so they've been in for 20 minutes roughly at this stage. Yesterday I brushed all those coals off the lid. What I'm going to try today, and hopefully not make a mess of this like I have been known to in the past, is lift this lid up, because if I lift it up and it needs longer, then I can just put it back down without wasting all these coals. This is the plan, this is my thinking anyway. But I'm going to be really careful the way I lift this up so that it doesn't tip and tip into, there you go. It's all right, let's have a look. Oh, they look pretty bloody good actually. I think what I'll do is I'll call that done. Put that up on there for now. And we'll continue making the our other ones, our non-gluten-free ones. Okay, so now we're ready to make our non-gluten-free scones or scones. It's exactly the same, I guess. But if you want to pause it or go on to another video now, you may as well. But if you want to see how these ones turn out, we're going to do a bit of a comparison. We'll see how these look compared to the gluten-free ones, I should say. And we'll just compare, you know. Now, I'm not going to cross-contaminate. I've washed my hands. I don't want the non-gluten-free flour coming in contact with this, because this is the good stuff, right? This is the gold. Now, the same applies. There's going to be, the rules are, we don't measure. We do it all by eye, and we just add little bits at the end just to make the difference up. But here we got a bit of cream in there, which I won't put that away too far. This is our Bundaberg ginger beer once again. We finished off that last bottle. We drank that by, oh Jesus, this is the good stuff, this ginger beer. I love ginger beer, especially the Bundaberg ginger beer. This is the best stuff you can buy. I'm not sponsored by them either, but yeah, it is magnificent. Put a bit of that in there. Now, got the oven over there. I've cleaned it out. Got rid of, as I said, got rid of all that gluten-free stuff and taken it right out of the oven so that we don't want none of that in our scones. And then we give that a bit of a stir. Now, for me, early on, it looks like I need to add more flour to this, but I might be jumping the gun. But I don't know if you can see that in there or not, but I probably am jumping the gun again. Sometimes I overreact a little bit, and I think this is one of those instances where I'm overreacting again. But you know what I've done? I was supposed to use this end. If I had used this end, they would have turned out that much better. If they're not as good as the gluten-free ones, we know why. It's because I stirred it with the wrong bloody end, you know. But anyway, no, they're still a bit wet. We need a bit more flour. And then we want to come together. This one. Keep stirring. So my wife tried out the gluten-free scones already, and I had a taste of them as well. And they are very nice. We're very happy with them, the way they turned out, actually, to be honest. Pleasantly surprised. Now, that's not too far away from being ready. might be a little bit wet still, but I can adjust that by adding a little bit more flour when I actually pat it out, if you know what I mean. All right, put this to the side. A bit more flour in there. Give it a little bit of a, you don't want to knead these, you don't want to knead it. It's not like even this what I'm doing right now is kneading it, but just, you don't want to spend a lot of time kneading it. Just gonna clean our hands up like so. And then we're gonna, I reckon it needs more flour still. It still feels a little bit on the wet side. All right, pop it out on our bench. Put that down there in case we could use that. Let's not waste anything. They look nice. It looks nice. Hasn't come together very well, as you can tell. But let's see if I can get this and compress it together a bit better. We'll work with this. We'll make it happen. Don't you worry about that. All right, now this time around I'm going to flour the inside of this because this was what helped last time. It really helped them because I had trouble getting them out, didn't it? It was like a vacuum. See, look at that. Now I'll do another one there. Perfect. Now I'll do the remainder of these, see if I can get 7 out of these as well, and then we'll come back and have a look. Okay, so we got 8. We got 8 out of this batch. Hey, how good's that? That's been sitting there. It's a bit warm actually, if you look at the bottom of that, but it's been put some more fresh coals down on that. It's been sitting there for like the 5 or 10 minutes it took me to make these. What I will be doing though now, I'll put that on there, put these down there. That might be a little bit hot on the bottom, but we'll get a bit of flour now. A bit of more flour on the bottom there. What we need to do, spread that out a little bit. These gloves, I always bring them away with me when I go camping. They are fantastic. They're really thick, and I can pick up a log that's on fire with these and hold it in my hand for quite some time before it starts to ruin anything, if you know what I mean, before it starts to hurt. I should have probably been wearing them yesterday when I touched that bloody flue. That hot flue. Anyway, let's see what we get out of these now. I might just see if I can I'm going to try something different. Instead of putting any in the middle, because the middle looks like it's the hottest point, I'm going to bung them around the edge and have none in the middle, right? This is just experiment. It doesn't hurt. Put the lid on. That's good. Now let's go and get our shovel. And let's get a shovel load of coals. Well, it's not really a shovel load, it's like a bloody quarter of a shovel load, but we'll see. I've got some more coals under here somewhere. Somewhere. Yep. Yep. Oh yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want. Some more in there. And that's it. And we'll come back in 20 minutes and have a look. We'll do a comparison and see what they look like compared to the gluten-free ones, but not for now. All right guys, roughly 20 minutes with these scones. This batch looks okay. I just took a sneak peek and let's have another look. Are you ready to have a look at this? I think you guys are going to be happy with this result. They look pretty bloody good, but anyway, we'll try them out. Now, one other thing, I'll take them off here because they don't, one, they're on there and they keep cooking, aren't they? We don't necessarily want that. We haven't got any jam. All we're doing is cutting these in half and just having them with butter, purely because we thought the jam would detract from the taste of the dates, and you know the ginger beer and the like. So we just want to experience the taste of the dates and the ginger beer with a bit of margarine or butter inside it, and we'll give that. That's how we're eating them. But if you do have a crack at these and you want to try jam, then you have my approval. Okay, so but one other thing before we go, like and subscribe, and it's free. So until next time, bye.